Okay, everybody. So the next part of this course is going to be termination of cable. So there are all kinds of different ways to remember what I'm going to demonstrate here, but what I just recommend is I just recommend repetition. That's how you get to know stuff. That's how you get to memorize things, is through repetition. Okay, and don't bother with a lot of stuff. It's not, there's not that much to remember. So, and again, if you like in the previous video, like I said, if you use this particular crimper for this, you'll see that it has the color codes on it, and also the everything is color coded, so you can see it right here. So you don't have to memorize things as much as you think. Eventually, it's going to become in rote memory. Eventually, once you've done it enough times, and that's why in my class, I recommend you get a box of cable, and they're 150 bucks or so, or maybe you can get it for less. But get a box of cable, and you need to get some connectors, and maybe some keystones, and you just start practicing. And if you're going to be doing this independently, you're going to need what you create. So what I'm suggesting is you start creating patch cords that you're going to use in your day-to-day. You're going to use these all the time. And anyway, so you might as well learn how to do this, okay? So one thing about terminating cable is the quality of the cable. So your first temptation might be to buy some cable that is really super cheap, and the problem with it is not only the inside of the cable is made out of cheap materials. The outer sheath in particular is made out of cheap material, and it doesn't have the right support mechanisms in it, so that what happens is that cable ends up getting tangled up, and it can be difficult to terminate as well. So it just makes things harder. So don't buy that super cheap cable. Don't buy that offshore cable that is super, like 50 bucks or something like that for a box or something like that. You want to look at all the different pricing that are for cable that are out there, and if something seems really super cheap and crazy cheap, don't buy that stuff. It's just going to end up costing you a bunch of time, a lot more time than need be. So also this outer sheath right here, when you do these terminations, you're gonna be scoring the outer sheath of this, okay, the jacket. And what happens when you have that cheap stuff is it has a cheap outer jacket, and you end up scoring the wire underneath, okay? And so you want something that you can score. And I know, like, by the book they say don't do this, but everybody does this. This is what you're going to see in the field, and that's what I teach here. And this is what I recommend you learn how to do. Okay, so this is the cable. This is an Ethernet cable, and inside of this cable are wires. They're copper wires inside. Okay, and so you want to have about half of my thumb length, or a little bit more, maybe 3/4 of the length of my thumb. I will score this cable and reveal those internal wires. Okay, when I score this, I just did it enough to make a mark on the sheath. Okay, so I just made that much of a cut into it. Then I peel like this, and it opens, and then I pull it off. It comes right off. Okay. Okay, so inside of here, there's 4 colors of cable, 4 colors of wire. There's a support spline, and then there's a pull string. This pull string is if I wanted to pull this down some more and reveal more of the wire length, and this is for support. So when you're pulling cable, or if it's sitting somewhere, whatever, this gives it a little additional support. Okay, so here's your colors in here: blue, orange, green, browns. That's the order of it: blue, orange, green, brown. Okay, and each one of these wires is used in terminations for a different reason. And again, I don't teach the why just yet. I just teach the how. Just learn how, be repetitive about it, and eventually learn the why. If you want to get to know this as quickly as possible, I recommend just learning the how to do things, and then figure out the why. Like each one of these does a different thing, or it's for a different purpose. Okay, or it's reserved for something. So you have the spline and the string. So once you've revealed about that much of your cable like that, you want to take this, I bend it over to the side so I don't accidentally cut the wires. I come in like this, okay, and see, and go ahead and cut it. So I do it in a way that I'm not going to end up cutting the wires. So all the wires are good. Okay, so now this, again, this is the color code. This is the way the connector is going to go into the tool. And you can see white, orange, orange. You can get closer. Okay, white, orange, orange. White, green, blue. White, blue, green. White, brown, brown. Or you can go this way, either way. Okay. Now I know it this way because when you're inserting the connector, when you're inserting the wires in the connector, I do it upside down so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. So it's opposite when I do it. I'll show you. Okay. So here's the wire. Here's the connector. And if you see, there's a little clip here. Okay. So this clip, and you can see it here, the top. That's where the clip goes, right? But as I'm putting the wires in, I go like this. You know, so the clip is down, which means I'm gonna have to turn it over, right? So I do it this way. And I think most people do it this way, so you can see it all going in real easy, okay? So you're doing this, but you're doing the opposite. So in this case, I put that there. First thing you wanna do is straighten these wires out. Now you can use your snips, the back side of your snips, to place them on the wire like this and sort of twist. Some people are really fast at just not doing that, and you will if you do it a bunch of times, you will. So you're going to pull that according to the diagram, white, orange, orange. So you have white, orange, orange. Okay? So the next one in the group, I just will grab my fingers like this if I don't use that. Some wire is super wound tight differently, so some of these you'll need something to kind of loosen it, but I'm not going to do it now. I'm just going to make this quick video on this. So the white, green is now next to the orange. Okay, and you want to kind of arrange these so that when you do put these in, that they lay next to each other as much as you can. I keep my thumb on the top of these as I sort them. Because that's what happens when you don't keep your thumb on it. See, it gets mixed up. So you keep your thumb on there. So the next one is blue, and then white, blue, green, white, brown, and brown. Okay, so now it's in order. You can see it's in the correct order. So you see how the top is all bent and everything. That's not going to go in very easy. So you kind of straighten it. And if you're in a data center or something like that, you don't do what I just did. You don't just let it rip, let these little pieces of wire fly all over the place. You might have like a bucket or something like that, or a box. I usually would have a box underneath me when I do this. So you cut them off so it's straight. Okay. So then your connector, RJ45 connector, they might be called mod plugs. If you go do this and you go work for a company, they might, people are sticklers about terminology or something like that or whatever. So you just have, just say whatever they want to say. But if you're doing this independently, this is called a mod plug, but you'll call it a connector probably on the job site. Okay, RJ45. So now you slide the wires in there. Make sure as I look, I do a double check across the top there and make sure the correct wires are coming out. This is a pass-through RJ45 mod plug. You push it all the way in so that the jacket is all the way in to where it's going to be crimped down. This is the crimp, the lock for the crimp, where you're going to crimp it. Okay, so that is going to keep it in there. So sometimes people don't do that, and it's hanging out like this, and they do, you know, that looks like crap. Okay, it looks like crap. It's loose. This is weaker than the jacket, and yeah, it just looks crappy. So you just do your stuff right. Make a nice clean cut. You push it all the way in like that, and you got this out. So then what you do is you straighten this a little bit. Okay, you gotta straighten this. Triple check your color code is correct. Okay, and then like I said, you take your crimper and then you turn it upside down because it's got to fit into the key. It's got to fit in here. Goes inside. Make sure it's firmly seated. Check on the other side, and this is your last chance. You turn it over. I turn it over and I do a quick look. Make sure it's correct. I'll do it a couple times. Okay. So now you can see on the back side, you see copper. You should see copper pins. I don't know if you can see it on there. Yeah, you see it there. And then you pull it out. And that's it. So that's a nice crimp right there. Okay. Just do it at full speed. I think I'm like medium somewhat good at this, but you know, there's guys who can bust these out, and I can usually do them in less than a minute, but you know, maybe some guys can do it in 45 seconds or whatever, like if they're really good. But like I said, if you get a box of cable and you know, you sit there and you practice this, say you do some 1-foot jumpers all day, you'll be pretty good at it by the end of the day. You'll be better than most people. Just once you've memorized that code, because what you will memorize it eventually. So then there it is, color code. Double check. Double check. Make sure it's seated. I'm just doing this video kind of quick. Got a big project that I want to get taken care of today. So that's it. That's it. So once you're done, pause this 1 second. Okay, so once you're done, use your tester. You want to always test. No matter how many times you think you've got this right, it pays to test. So I plugged in the test tool, run a test, and it passes. So there's 8 pins in here. There's eight wires inside the cable. Each one of them does a certain thing. This makes sure that they're wired correctly. The tester. That's why you always want to test this. And no matter how good you get at it, test. Okay, it's going to save you so much time to just do that in the beginning. And this is just a simple little tester just to make sure it's correct. Okay, Klein tools. All right, so that's it for today. I'm gonna go over. Oh, of course, you know, clean your mess up when you're done. Clean up. Like, do this over a box. It's very important to do this over a box. I should have demonstrated that. But so that's it for today, and I'm going to do another video on the faceplate. That is, I'm going to do a cutout. I'll probably just go ahead and do one right here, and just so I can demonstrate it. And then once I do that, I'm going to show you how you can connect this to a router and switch, because that's the next thing. Once you have connectivity you're going to plug in your router. You're going to plug in the cable to a switch to a router, and get internet. So that's going to be the next course after this, the next module after this. Okay, so that was just that. All right, so that's it. Thank you for watching. Again, this is Savoy with ClickPro, and see you in the next video.